send us a little note in the chat section with your name and email address and any other contact information you would like so that we can send you some good stuff. We also encourage everyone, whether here or online, to return and bring someone with you or share it on the Facebook page. Today I understand we're not going to have YouTube. Oh, we got it? Oh, or YouTube page. All right, cool. Now, family, it's time for our blessing for everyone. Okay. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. Okay, now take your songbook, turn to page 220, and we're going to sing New Mercies, New Blessings, but don't look at the screen because it's to this tune. So I promise you'll be familiar with the tune. So let's try new words to it. New mercies, new blessings, new light on the way, new courage, hope, and new strength for each day. New notes of praise, new praise in the morning, new songs in the night, new praise in the morning, new songs in the night. Okay, let's stop. Pause and pray. Everybody's familiar with the tune. Everybody's familiar with the tune. Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Yeah. However, there are different words. And so it's a different phrase. So what we're doing is we all know the tune, but let's take a look at these words again real closely. And before we sing it this time, so I want to make sure you get the message. Together. New mercies, new blessings, new light on the way. On the thy way. That's what mine says. Thy way. On thy way. New courage, new hope, and new strength for each day. New notes of thanksgiving, new chords of delight, new praise in the morning, new songs in the night. New praise in the morning, new songs in the night. Okay, you got it?
Got it.
Okay, now let's try it again.
All right.
Oh, there's Brian. Maybe you can come up and play it.
Good
morning.
Well, he said if he got here on time, he would play it. So we're going to check out his sight reading skills, which I know are wonderful.
Skills.
All right.
And
I know you're familiar with this song.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not the
We
words,
heard you play last week.
Oh.
not the words to it, but it's okay.
Oh.
Okay?
Atteste fidelis.
Atteste fidelis.
I'm going to make an executive decision here. Brad, let's play the recording. Brian, you hear it through the first time.
Yes.
Then we'll go on to the second verse with just Brian. And then Brad will take the sound down low.
Okay, let's try it that way. We should be able to get it. Okay, Brad, let's take it from the start of this song, from the recording.
Just use 2 fingers when you play it there, Brian. Don't use like all
No,
10.
he's gonna do.
yeah.
He's gonna do it. Mhm.
Okay, here we go.
We know these words now. New mercies, new blessings, new courage to hold, and new strength for each day. New chords of delight, new praise in the morning. New songs in the night, new praise in the morning, new songs in the second verse.
There we go.
New wine, the chalice, new altars, new praise, new fruits of thy masters, new garments of praise, new gifts for his treasures, new smiles from his rays. Okay, this song is not working for today. We're good. We're good.
I would love to recreate this one. This would be interesting.
Okay, well, you'll have that opportunity. You will have that opportunity. Thanks, you already seen it.
All right.
So, with all of that, let's welcome and bring to the stage our platform assistant for today, the wonderful, the almighty Brad Clark.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Brian.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity Church of Flint.
Well, you never know what's gonna
Yes.
happen.
Just want to remind you all that Unity Church of Flint is a member of Unity Worldwide Ministries, which is a New Thought Christian organization that promotes a positive approach to life and recognizes the good in all people and in all of life. We here at Unity Church of Flint are a prosperous church that encourages spiritual unfoldment by freely allowing fulfillment of God's purpose in and through us. And at Unity of Flint, we aspire to be a center of love that is responsive to the spiritual needs of all people. We are a spiritual community dedicated to celebrating diversity and transforming lives through education, meditation, affirmation, fellowship, service, and prayer. And at Unity Church of Flint, we are committed to developing our 12 faculties of consciousness. Each month, we focus on one of these faculties by emphasizing a disciple and corresponding color. The spiritual idea for this month
Wisdom.
from the head to the heart. The disciple is,
James.
the corresponding color is,
Yellow.
Yellow.
and the location is the pit of the stomach. This month, let us wear or carry something yellow to remind us to be guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, or action. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Reverend Brian for the invocation.
Okay, I just need to make a note there, because when things come to me, I need to write them down and make sure that I make notes for myself. Because each month we wear or carry something yellow to do what? Remind us Okay. We wear something to remind us. Now, don't we all need reminding of something sometime?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. So we remind ourselves all month to be guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, or action. Together, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. Again, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. Thank you, God. Now let us declare our statement of being, because what we do is when we make this statement of being, this declaring our purpose, declaring why we are here. This is our chance to talk to ourselves, to talk to the universe, and tell the universe and tell the world why we are here. Now, we do this every week, don't we?
Yeah.
So when I start going through this, thanks, Annie. We're here to declare what we are here for, our purpose. Come on, everyone, together. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Come on now. I am an individualized expression of God. Again, I am an individualized expression of God. Now let's talk to something, either the body, a situation, a condition that's going on that needs to be worked on, that needs to be healed. And talk to it. You are an individualized expression of God. Again, you are an individualized expression of God. Whatever that situation is that you're working through, whatever the condition is, I want you to tell it, because it's here to teach you a lesson. I don't know what the lesson it is. I don't know what the situation is. But you need to talk to that situation and tell it. Come on. You are an individualized expression of God. Let's keep going. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Thank you, God. You may be seated while Maggie is singing. If you have your prayer request filled out, while the energy from this particular song is present, this will be an excellent time for you to bring your prayer request forward. Balcony, we are not excluding you. I want to make sure that you know that your church family here, Unity Church of Flint, is praying with you. So if there is a prayer request that you have, please let me know. Because there is one prayer request that I do want to make known. One of our balcony members, her cousin has made her transition. And I want to make sure that we keep her in our prayers and sending her all of the strength and love and support that we have. Miss Eula E., balcony member, I want you to know that your church family here is praying with you.
Thank you, Reverend Brian. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So great to be here today. And in honor of our awesome Creator, His beautiful creations of the earth that we all walk upon, we're going to do this song by Dave Carter called Celia Says. Celia was a wise old gal, and a turtle brave was she. She took me out upon her back, and we swam across the sea. We learned about the coast of Spain and the keys of Xanadu, and to do unto our critters as you have done to you. Being because Celia says we all sail the seas together. Sister Celia says no one truly swims alone on the waves' bright crest. In the worst and best of within feather friends forever, Celia says. She took me to a secret spot 1,000 miles from the shore, down to the sunken city on the ocean floor. And there these words were written on the ancient wall. As you have done to one of us, so you have done to all. Because Celia says we all sail the seas together. Sister Celia says no one truly swims alone on the waves' bright crest. In the worst and best of weather, thin feather friend, Celia says. Somewhere on a sunny beach, far from the world of man, turtles lay their treasure nets in the sand. So make a wish for peaceful seas and oceans without end. There will wait for you your own friend. Because Celia says we all sail the seas together. Sister Celia says no one truly swims alone on the waves' bright crest. In the worst and best of weather, then feather friends forever, Celia says. We are living with the great big dipper. We are washed in the very same rain. We're swimming in the sea together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Because Celia says we all sail the seas together. Sister Celia says no one truly swims alone on the waves' bright crest. In the worst and best of weather, thin and feather friends forever, Celia says. Thin and feather friends forever, Celia says.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Maggie. You know, this is my favorite Sunday of the month when you guys are here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's favorite too.
And I told her before, her voice is as smooth as the French German skippy. I just really enjoy it. Okay, for the daily word, Sunday, April 24th, and the word is gather. We gather and magnify the presence of God. As I gather with others in the spirit of love and peace, my awareness of God's presence becomes more powerful, even palpable. Together we create an energy, vibration greater than any of us has alone. I am comfortable and at ease when I notice our differing appearances, preferences, backgrounds, and opinions, because I am reminded of the limitless diversity of divine expression and my place in it. When I join in fellowship with those who are dear to me, each of us becomes a mirror for the others. We see in one another the divine presence that lives in every person. The unifying energy and binds us together. In this love, we are one. Psalm 133:1 reminds us how very good and pleasant it is when kindred. And Now, the portion of our service we've all been waiting for, the announcements. Be sure to read the newsletter to keep updated, and if you don't receive our newsletter by email, please send us an email at unityoutlook.com. That's all one word, unityoutlook.com, and we will add you to the list. Also, don't forget our weekly wisdom broadcast is on. We also have one more week for our class on Thursday at 11 a.m. called Denials and Affirmations, from 5 of Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady. We have the last 2 weeks, so this week is affirmations. Everyone is welcome, and as always, our classes are on a love offering basis. The new daily words for May and June are on the back table. As you take one to share with someone. Those are great, and even if they've never heard of Unity, a lot of times they've heard of the daily word, and I've given them to just random people, left them at GM on the tables, and it's a wonderful publication, and we need to take advantage of that. We have that resource.
Greg, before you go on, I want to make a little note about the daily word, and something I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And there is a cost, a financial cost for the daily words. And we were given a gift from an anonymous donor to make sure that the daily words were here at no cost to us. And that donor has been picking up the cost of the daily word to have. And I just want that these are a donation, they're a gift to us. And I do not want us to let this gift just go unappreciated and unused. So we do have copies of previous daily words. So please, everyone, take one of those previous daily words and give to somebody and let them know that was a gift given to our congregation, and share that with them. I do not want to see these daily words, these previous editions of daily word, go in the recycle bag.
Yeah.
I do not want to see that. So because these are us, let's please utilize these daily words.
Because even if they're the wrong dates, it doesn't matter. You pick them up and open it up to anywhere and it's gonna be.
Exactly. Guided by spirit.
Yeah.
And fine. You've seen people do that on the globe with a map. They want to figure out where they're going for vacation. They just do that with your daily work. I guarantee you, when spirit guides you, that one that you open to is the one that you need for that particular day.
Thank you.
A lot of people do that with the Bible too,
Yeah.
don't they? Yeah, I've done that before. Okay, also, don't forget, if you have a Kroger Plus Shoppers card, you can designate that Unity Church of Flint gets a percentage at no cost to you. All you have to do is log on to Kroger.com, put that in your search engine. If you don't have an account online already, create an account. Really easy to do. Get that and just type in a little information there. Now you have and you can actually do your shopping from there too. Get it ready for you, put it in the car out the parking lot. Which I've done when it was free, when they started charging me for it. But I mean, they give you a couple of free ones to try it out, so it saves a lot of time. Also for for our balcony believers, it's an opportunity for you to participate from wherever you are. We have a goal to set for April, so please do that for us right away. And if you're already online, and you're probably familiar with being online, and so signing up at Kroger shouldn't be any difficulty at all. And as long as we're on the subject of balcony believers, you're not here to pick up, obviously, the daily word that's on the back table, but it's also very handy. You can subscribe to that and get an email every morning. I know Brian does that, and I've done it. And some of you do it, and it's pretty awesome. For additional announcements, and please bring your handouts back next week because how far part one would get done.
Yeah,
How far, we're not sure how far we're gonna get today, so handouts are in the bulletin today for both weeks.
actually,
I'll take care of that.
we'll figure that out.
I'll take care
I've
of
got
that.
the office. I thought maybe people wouldn't bring them back, so.
Okay,
But I'll handle that I'll address that during the.
we want to thank you for all your generous contributions, your tithes, love offerings, and supporting gifts to our website by using the donate button on the home page. And we also have Square app for you in the building. You can use your credit debit card in here if you choose. See Annie and her service, take advantage of this opportunity. Don't forget to like and share us on Facebook. So when you see our Facebook Live show up on your screen, like it and then share it with friends. We appreciate that. And with that, we're going to move on to the gratitude portion of our service. It has been found by experience that the person increases their blessings by being thankful for what they have, especially when they have gratitude out loud. And so at this point, we invite you to express gratitude and share events that you've experienced this week. And change, yeah.
I am so grateful for flexibility this morning. We had to make some last minute changes on different things for service and for different technical things. And I'm just very grateful that most of us are flexible and can switch
Yes.
around. So,
Yes.
and thanks, Brian. And he plays beautifully, and it wasn't an indication of, he's not used to playing with a congregation, so we're gonna get there, so it'll be fine. But
It was a rough draft.
yeah, that was just a rough draft. Good, good.
We're gonna check
And
this
it's
out.
beautiful weather, it's actually feeling
Yes.
springy.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you. Yes.
Barb,
Well, I'm grateful to be here and we're also grateful for this beautiful weather. Grateful that my husband's here with me today.
Yes.
So, and I'm grateful for some special friends that we have. We got together last night and they are going through some very difficult times. And so I just like thoughts and prayers to to Steve.
Oh, one more thing. My neighbor across the street, her son had been in the hospital for 6 months. Not COVID, it was leukemia, and he was on death's door, and he came home from the hospital yesterday. The hospital gave him one of those things they do on Grey's Anatomy where they align the hallways and applaud you and say goodbye to you and we miss you. And so he went down with the wheelchair, and they were all clapping for him, and he's in recovery, he's getting physical therapy, and
Good.
it's, finally 6 months. Amazing.
awesome.
I want to express gratitude for my friends Patty and Keith in Chicago. They went to see a band that I have been watching, following, working with for 20 years last night. And Patty FaceTimed me. So I got to see the band and them. And it was just very, very, very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think that's it. So with that, we will move on to our meditation. And we'll start out with our thoughts and prayers as soon as I can get back there.
Lord's Prayer.
Or Lord's Prayer as soon as,
We'll trade places.
yeah, it's okay. We're flexible.
Yeah.
Everybody give a big stretch while we're waiting for Brent.
Be flexible.
Yes. All right. Join me with the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
This is now our with God. Some deep breaths to center and back. This is personal time. Spirit. Whatever it is that you need to commune or communicate, take this opportunity to focus on that. Also during this time, focus your inner ear to hear what Spirit has to tell you. Communication must be two-way. is a message that Spirit has specifically for you. That has nothing to do with the person sitting next to you. That has nothing to do with what's going on Fenton Road right now. God has something just for you. That is for you alone. Take the time to listen to Spirit. It is vitally important that we make this opportunity happen on a daily basis. Take some time each day to just sit and talk with Spirit and listen to what Spirit has to say to you. And Father God, we thank you so much for this brief moment that we have now to commune. And let us now draw our attention back to this time as we close and see this time of meditation. As we collectively declare together that our thoughts are prayers.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we always pray. Our thoughts are prayers, take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
All right, everyone, I'm going to start by saying this. I will not get through today's message. I'm already knowing. I'm not going to get done with it. So this message is going to be in, I'm going to say, at least 2 parts. Okay, there may be a part 3, not sure, but I'm hoping to be able to get this particular message done in 2 parts. Thus, you will need to keep this particular set of notes and bring them back next week in order to finish filling out. If we don't get through this balcony, you will want to have a copy of these
I
notes.
send them to
for-
everybody I had emails.
Okay, if you do not have this, please let us know. Even if you don't want to get them all the time, this particular set I know that you are going to need. I've worked very hard on this. There is some very, very transformative information that's going to be brought out in these next 2 weeks. I cannot emphasize that enough because this is a teaching ministry. And I want to make sure that everyone is learning something. And the more you learn, the more your life is transformed. So therefore, we're starting out by saying it ain't over. We've already come through Lent. We've had the resurrection. But that's not the end of it. It's still more to the story. And it's somewhat difficult for me to say this, however, metaphysical students grasp this. It is important to know Jesus's story and to know that he had his resurrection. But it's very much important that we have our own resurrection. Okay?
Mhm.
I know that last week several people bought new cars. Yay. Yeah.
Good.
Glad. They got good transportation. But if I'm having trouble getting around, what good is it to know that they have reliable transportation? What we have to do is make sure that what for Jesus works for us. Jesus had his resurrection, but just by him coming out of the tomb was not the end of the story. There's more to it. During the 40 days following the resurrection, Jesus appeared to his followers 10 times. So 10 times in that 40-day period. Ooh, catch this. We've worked with the 40 days prior to, now there's 40 days after the resurrection. There's something very significant about that 40. So during that 40 days, there were 10 occasions that Jesus appeared to his disciples. Jesus had obtained power on 3 planes of consciousness. The first is the spiritual, the second is the physical, and the third is the mental. So after the resurrection, he held his body on the physical and astral plane, and his resurrected body was significantly similar in appearance. Similar. Wasn't exactly the same, but it was similar. And his mission was not complete. His mission was not complete. It ain't over until his followers were convinced of his resurrection. Just because he did it, that wasn't the end of it. They had to be convinced. They had to see the proof. They had to see the evidence. So see, there was a reason that he made those 10 appearances, and that was to convince the people that what he said he was going to do, he did. So in the years of their association with Jesus, they had not really fully comprehended the whole concept of the message of what was going to happen. So, as a result of his appearances after the resurrection, the loyalty and faith of his apostles were renewed. And they became leaders of the faithful and united group. I need to give you all of this in order to get to the meat, these appearances. So when we're dealing with these 10 appearances, the Gospels give a real short account on these appearances. There's no real lengthy interaction or explanation or description. Half of them present facts that are vital to your spiritual unfoldment. So what we're going to do in these next 2 weeks, look at these 10 appearances and unpack those vital facts, or those facts that are vital to your spiritual unfoldment. Because it's not just here, he showed up, but how does I grow? Knowing about we're probably only going to get through 5 of the appearances today. And kind of so, justifiably so, because appearances took place on the day of the resurrection. And the other 5 took place later on. But each of the appearances, and I'm going to try to group them together in such a way where they're not just in chronological order as is put in the Bible, but group them together in their significance. Okay. So let's deal with this first appearance. And the first appearance is the one that most people hear about in a Easter message. And practically anybody who has had any type of time in church or dealings with Easter has heard this appearance after the resurrection. And it was to Mary Magdalene. And it's recorded in John 20, verses 11 through 13. Mary stood without the sepulchre, on the outside of the sepulchre, weeping. And as she wept, down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeing 2 angels in white sitting, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been laid. And they said unto her, very crucial here, woman, why are you crying? She said unto them, because they have, and I don't know where they have. Jesus was standing nearby, but Mary's eyes were filled with at first, and she did not recognize him. There was 2 reasons she didn't recognize him. First of all, she was crying. Secondly, his resurrected body was only similar to what he had prior to that. Jesus said unto her, Mary. When he called her name, she turned and said unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, teacher. She understood, or she got the idea that it was him. When there is, and this is where things become vital to our spiritual unfoldment, when a resurrection takes place, when there is a It is sometimes difficult for us to see the growth process because of the two reasons that Mary did not recognize Jesus. Number one, she was crying, and her eyes were full of tears. There are too many times we cannot see the resurrection. We cannot see the progress because we're so full of our emotions. We're so into ourselves. Hey, look at this. They done tore things up. And oh my God, look at all this construction on 75. I can't get to where I gotta get to. And oh my goodness, things are just so horrible. And you can't see the good that's there because we've gotten so emotional and gotten so upset. Every time I turn around, there's construction. I can't get to where I got to get to. We're doing just like Mary. You see, Jesus spent the time in the tomb this is good stuff right here. Jesus spent the time in the tomb, and that was construction. So that after the construction was done, you could see it's much better. We're focusing too much on the actual construction instead of what it's going to be like when the construction is done. Another thing that's important about that first appearance is those two angels that were sitting at the head and the foot of where the body was. They said to her, "Why seek ye the living among the dead?" This is vital. We cannot look for life amongst dead situations. When we've grown, when we've made a resurrection, when we've moved from where we once were, that's a dead situation. We cannot continue to keep looking back to from what I've been doing when this is where I am. The resurrection. This is where life is. I cannot live here and still try to live in that state. We're looking for the living amongst the dead. There are some things that have died to us, and we must turn our attention from that and place our attention on the new. Now that's difficult for a lot of people to accept. Why? Because this is what's comfortable. This is what they've known. This has become so familiar that this is all there is. But they do not recognize, just like Mary did not recognize Jesus, even though he was standing right there in front of her. There's a new life that's here. Mary, you got to recognize this. That's the first appearance. The second appearance was to some other women who had come along with Mary Magdalene, and it probably took place at the garden of Joseph of Arimathea. So he first of all appeared to Mary Magdalene, and then these two other women. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, "All hail." And they came and held him by the feet and worshiped him. Now, there's something real interesting about these two appearances. He met these other two women, and when they recognized that it was him, they bowed down and touched his feet. But when he appeared to Mary, One of the things he said to her when she was crying, she was like, "Oh, Jesus, it's you." He's still like, "Hey, don't touch me, because I have not yet ascended to my Father." Why is it, do you think, that he stopped Mary from touching him, but let the other two women touch him?
Because Mary was.
Different attitudes.
Okay, different
And
attitudes.
Mary
What?
was used to touching him. She was very familiar with him. And she would help wash his feet and all of that. So she was used to his physical body touch, and it would be different to her, and it might be harder for her to understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. But the different states of consciousness was the real reason. Mary Magdalene was crying. She was weeping. She was sad. She was upset. I came to do everything that I was supposed to do. She was weeping because of the grief that you feel when a loved one makes their transition. But also that grief was coupled with, they done stole the body. Wow, now how am I going to anoint it and prepare it for burial that I didn't get a chance to do? See, she had a weeping or crying, sorrowful state of consciousness or state of mind at that meeting. Jesus knew that there were certain states of consciousness that in this resurrected state I cannot deal with. Because I have made a step here. Once again, you can't look for the living among the dead. Whatever that sorrowful, mournful state of consciousness is, when you make a change, that can no longer be a part of you. That's what the second appearance is showing us. That once I move from that can no longer touch me. I don't want to be a part of that. Not that that's bad, but that does not go along with what I have going on in my life now. Okay, I was there, but now I moved here. That type of conscious ain't gonna do nothing but drag me back down. I'm on a mission, and that is going to interfere with my mission. That's why they couldn't touch him. And those other two women were allowed to touch him because they recognized the new him. Therefore, do you recognize the new you? Okay? Mary's weeping, I think I said this, was the human reaction to grief, and this should be in your notes, over the death of a loved one, and added to her grief was the fear that somebody had stolen his body. Okay, so we get the two appearances. Now let's deal with the third appearance. Now the third appearance of Jesus was to Peter. And the details of it are unknown in the book of 1 Corinthians. Now, I want you to remember, like I said, I'm going to be putting some of these together. Appearance number 3 and appearance number 9 happen together or somewhere, but they're mentioned in the same chapter in 1 Corinthians. But this third appearance, it's not a whole lot said about it. Luke 24 is saying the Lord is risen indeed and has appeared to Simon. Then in 1 Corinthians, it says that he was buried and that he rose again on the third day according to the scriptures, and that he was seen of Cephas. Now, Cephas, that's not a name that we've heard before. But just a side note, a little caveat, that was a nickname Jesus had for Peter. Okay. My name is Trafton Griffin. However, folks call me DG. Griffin is shortened to Griff. Cephas was a nickname that Jesus had for Peter. So the third appearance, there's nothing really significant about it, but it was one that was made. We do see that appearance was there. The fourth appearance, like I said, these first five are all on the same day. The fourth appearance, on the same day towards the evening, Jesus appeared to two disciples on the road to Emmaus. This is very, very important here. On the road to Emmaus. When we become metaphysical students, when you really look at the names of places, there is a metaphysical meaning to every name that is used in the Bible, every name of a person, every name of a place, and not only the metaphysical meaning to the person or the place, but what was going on at that time. For some reason, there is no other mention of this place called Emmaus in the Bible. I know because I studied it all week. If you find it somewhere, please correct me and let me know next week if you find anything else about Emmaus, because I couldn't find it.
Is it in the Revealing Word?
No, in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. I looked and I looked and I looked. I could not find it. Emmaus. This is the only time I could find where Emmaus was made reference to. A place in consciousness where the healing or restoring love and faith of spirit have flown freely. A place in consciousness where the healing, restoring love of spirit flows freely. So on the way to that place in consciousness, this is where the fourth appearance takes place. The two disciples were sad and anxious, and they were discussing what had went on in the past 2 days, and Jesus was walking along with them. And while he was walking along with them, he's talking to them, and the two disciples on their way, when they were talking about what was going on, Jesus kind of like questioned them and said, well, what are you all talking about? You're a little upset. You sound depressed about what's going on. Why? You upset? And they were like, dude, you ain't heard about what happened? That they crucified Jesus? He said, no, tell me about it. When he said, tell me about it, they began to talk to him and tell him what all went on. They didn't realize they were actually talking to Jesus. His appearance was similar to, but not exactly the way it was. So this fourth appearance to them sparked them to go back and tell everybody else about what was going on.
What two disciples were there?
Oh, you see now.
And what scriptures is it?
Okay, the fourth appearance. I didn't put what those two scriptures were, but I know it's all in John. No, here it is. John 20, verses 19 through 22. So, the fourth appearance, and this is where I'm going to have to stop for today. The fourth appearance leads to the fifth, because once he was talking to them and they knew or they recognized that it was Jesus. That's when they immediately hurried back to everybody else and said, hey y'all, I actually saw him. The resurrection did not mean anything until he had shown himself to enough people. And when he showed himself to enough people, they're like, wait a minute, you mean he actually did it? Because they didn't know he could actually do what he said he was going to do. So they went back and told everybody else, hey y'all, come on, I gotta tell you what happened. And while those two were telling everybody else what happened, he showed up with appearance 5. And that I'm going to tell you about next week.
Good, thank you.
Oh, I left you with that one, didn't I?
Thank you, Brother Brian. Back in the Middle Ages, in the city of Norwich, England, lived a prophetess named Julian of Norwich. She lived her whole life up at the top of a bell tower. And people would come from far and wide and ask her questions, and she would answer them and prophesy at the same time. Yet the most impressive answer that she would ever give anyone, and the most consistent answer, was that she would always tell them that all will be well. Eventually, all things will be well. In these days of this crazy world and the war out in Ukraine, that is something that we can all focus our minds on and prophesy ourselves to each other that all will be well again. All will be well. Loud are the bells of Norwich, and the people come and go. Here by the Tower of Julian, I tell them what I know. Ring out bells of Norwich, and let the winter come and go. All shall be well again, I know. Love like the yellow daffodil is coming through the snow. Love like the yellow daffodil is born of all I know. Ring out bells of Norwich, and let the winter come and go. All shall be well again, I know. For the yellow daffodil, the flower in the snow. Ring for the yellow daffodil and tell I know. Ring out of Norwich, and let the winter come and go. All shall be well again, I know. All shall be well, I tell. Let the winter come and go. All shall be well again, I know. Loud are the bells of Norwich, and the people come and go. Here by the Tower of Julian, I tell them, ring out bells of Norwich, and let the winter come and go. All shall be well again, I know. Well, I'm telling you, let the winter come and go. All shall be well again, I know. All shall be well again, I know. All shall be well again. I know.
Thank you so much, man. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice. This time, let us now prepare for our blessing of our tithes, our love offerings, our supporting gifts, however you have come prepared to give, or how you've been directed to give during this service. Let us take our love offering, as her ladyship says, the paper stuff. Place that in your hands and declare our love offering blessing together. Divine love through me and increases all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. For those who are in-house, there is a offering 10 as you are leaving the sanctuary. For our Balkan believers, on the homepage of the website, you may click on the donate button there for your contributions to Unity Church. That being said, those who are in-house, would you please stand? Excuse me, please stand with me as we sing our peace song.
And if you would like to stand when you're at your computer, you can put your laptop down.
And join with us. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. Right, a little more volume. God has created, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be with us. In our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yeah. What am I doing?
Miss you, Gina and Larry, and Miss